Welcome everybody to some European League action now. We've got making his debut on our recorded matches, Stephen Johan Mathee at the top of the screen. Unfortunately, I was unable to fit that long name in, so I've abbreviated him to SJ Mathee, but I'll call him Stephen. Against David Hall, who's returning to the European division for the second year in a row. Of course, David from Alabama in the US. Stephen is from, I believe he's actually North American. I'm going to guess here and say Canadian, but he actually lives in South Korea. So it's the um, it's the European division that suits his time zone the best. David here is on Bant Nexus, which he's been playing for a few weeks now, I believe. Chooses not to play Gifts of Paradise. I'm not sure why. The only thing I can think of is he doesn't want to. Yeah, as you see, there, he's going to counter the Goblin Chainwheeler. He either was holding up a counter spell or he didn't want to play it on a non-basic. But I don't believe Red Black Aggro plays any Field of Ruins anyway, so he doesn't need to worry about that. You can see 4 mana down here. Here's a second Chainwheeler. This Chainwheeler is going to be able to crew the Heart of Quran. So this particular matchup, game 1 particularly, is just a race. The Red Black Aggro player has to quickly win 2, 3, 4, 5. He's up. David's up to 6 mana now, so next turn he can start using the Nexus. The red black player has to quickly win before David can assemble a Teferi and get an extra turn. He's going to keep both the Charter Course and Supreme Will here. As he's thinking long and hard. I'd be tempted to get rid of the Supreme Will. Oh, he's going to get rid of the Charter Course. The reason I say that is because he's not going to need to counter. But I guess Supreme Will is going to allow him to look at 4 different cards. Now, here's a Hazoret, so he's not mucking around here. I don't understand why you... Okay, he's got... Sorry, apologies to Stephen there. He actually has 3 cards in hand, so he couldn't attack Hazoret. So, big problems here for David. He has to start... He chooses not to use the Nexus. I don't think Stephen can do 18 damage anyway. He's got 9, 12 damage on the board. Apologies for the noise. My house is like a Chinese laundry. All the relatives are over. He's going to counter the Kindling Phoenix. The one thing I was going to say that oh no, actually no, he's not. He's going to use it. I like that play. I was about to say the one thing that David doesn't have is fog effects. He's just used the Supreme Will to find his first effect. So here's an attack coming in now for 7. Still Hazoret can't get in. Hazoret will be able to get in the next turn. If he's going to get another turn, that is. And there is Teferi. So the awkward thing here is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Teferi will only grant him access to 4. So if he chooses to play Teferi, Teferi is going to die, which is what he's going to choose. The only way Teferi doesn't die here is if he can plus and get a... I was going to say plus and get a fog effect, which he doesn't do. It does, in fact, though, buy him an extra turn because Stephen's going to have to commit something, probably Hazoret, taking down Teferi. So here he can discard to get below the 1 card. Let me just bring up my thing and see what he discarded. He discarded to cut the ribbons. It's the whole crew, they're all coming at Teferi. I think he could have, I guess he had to send 3 minimum there. So here's a Khan's Temporal Sundering. He does have a legendary land, so he's going to be able to bounce something with that. But you can see without the Teferi, he's got nothing going on here. Can he... He needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He can't actually... He can't actually activate and have an extra turn. He's a land short. I'd be tempted to take Gift of Paradise here. There's no. He's got 9, 12, 13. He's actually dead on board if. Yeah, he had to take the gift because he's dead on board if Stephen can find something to crew the Heart of Quran with. So that gift of paradise actually buys him one more turn. You can see one thing for Stephen here, he's got 2, 4, 6, 7 lands, probably the top end of what he wants. He discards a second Hazaret. 14 damage coming in here. Also that Momat Courier is starting to build up. I would sack the Courier here and hopefully find a Lightning Bolt for his sake. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. If he's got a Lightning Bolt, it's game over. Not Lightning Strike, sorry. There's no Lightning Strike, so David gets another shot at it. He's going to concede. Well, a bit of a surprise there. I know he had access to the 4 from the 2, so he could have at least had given himself another turn. He had a Nexus of Khan's Temple Sundering would have given him another turn, so he could have at least had a look at what was on offer. You can see he's got the Teferi now. He kind of wants to 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so this is the setup that David wants. Well, as I say that, he gets the rest, so Teferi's gone. What he wants is to be able to play the Teferi for 5 and untap that Gifted Paradise land with Haze of Pollen or an equivalent fog available. So he's going to play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Supreme Will he might be interested in to give himself a look here. Yeah, he's going to keep both, so he's going to Supreme Will next turn. So that's actually incorrect because he put the Supreme Will on top of the island. If he wanted to keep both, he had to do it the other way around because now he's going to be forced to take something else other than the island. And it also gives him one less card to look at because he's not going to take an island. Here I think you take Commit Memory. He's going to take Nexus of Fate, okay. The Nexus of Fate 2, 3, 4 on this board is not very good at the moment. Okay, now here we go. He's going to. Oh yeah, we've just noticed something peculiar here. He drew a Teferi. Hold on, what did I? Ah, yes. Okay, they're just sorry to in chat. They're just David saying what I wanted to draw my Supreme Will. Why did I not draw it? What actually happened was because he scried both to the top. Stephen actually dressed him, took his Nexus of Fate. Nexus of Fate shuffles back into the deck. That's a really good play from Stephen there. So it shuffles away whatever the 2 cards were that he wanted. Now here, I don't know. He hasn't activated Nissa, I believe. Yeah, they're just discussing. He had to check the log, but yeah, I don't know if he intended to do that, but it was a really good play. I like it from. He's played insult injury, so damage can't be prevented. I think I would have saved that, but he obviously wants to use it to finish off Teferi, which again I don't mind. So yeah, I'm not sure if Stephen intended that line. Oh, he finishes off Nissa. That's kind of surprising. But you can see David just drawing blanks here. It's a second Teferi, not what you want. So he's kind of in big trouble at the moment. If he got super greedy, He could have played that second Teferi and he'd untap 4 lands, but he's not going to do that. But he's going to potentially get punished here. Chandra resolves. Finds a Chain Wheeler, cannot play it though, so it's going to get exiled. So Teferi's going to take a hit for 3 here. David is going to get potentially 2 more turns. Oh, when I say 2 more turns, I mean 2 more looks at... Okay, so yeah, he's just reminding us he's got to commit to memory. Okay, Khan's Temporal Sundering will also get him another turn. Authority to Consoles is a nice pickup there. So every time Kari's attacks, it's going to net two life point for him. Finds a search for a Skanta. So he's really stabilized. I think Steven's missed well, he hasn't missed, but he's got a second Chandra now, because the first one, of course, was bounced by that Khan's Temporal Sundering. But this is funny. Raghavan's going to come in tapped. Net a point. It's he fires off the Settled Wreckage now because Steven's just got nothing going on the other side. Transforms a Skanta. It is a second Nexus of Fate. So I think he's almost got the lock on now, particularly if that's Supreme Will. Can he doesn't have enough to fire this off at the end of the turn though, he's two mana short. So he untaps this Skanta to try and get a untaps a Skanta to try and get an extra activation. David goes for the counter. This is not going to get countered, but it means that Hazoret can't discard and attack this turn, which will be a big one. See, Hazoret... Oh, actually, Hazoret came and tapped anyway, so it's kind of pointless. So now he'd be expecting to go off. 2 Nexus of Fate. I don't think you can lose from here. He's going to Ultimate Teferi. Yeah, so much mana, he doesn't know what to do with it all. So here you can untap these 2 lands and then fire off the Nexus of Fate. Generally at this stage, if you see 2 or 3, you just quit. 2 Hazer Pollens, he ain't losing from here. A search for Skanta. This deck has absolutely everything it needs now. You can see he's got 2 Nexus of Fates again. Well, he's got so much mana, he's going to cycle. Teferi Ultimate coming next turn. Now, there was an issue here I'm just going to highlight to you guys because David's got, you can see his time is less than 7 minutes. He actually contacted over a dispute here because he runs out of time. This game runs out of time. I might actually talk about that later. Another Nexus of Fate. So he's going to better actually Ultimate Teferi and keep Teferi. You can see the bounty of the Luxors drawing him cards as well. So at this stage, there's no way Steven is going to win this one. He's kind of hoping that he doesn't get any Nexus of Fate, but when he has so many looks at cards, See, there's the emblem. So he's going to start going to work on exiling cards now. Two Bounty of the Luxes. Finds another Nexus of Fate. At this stage, I think it's pretty obvious the writing's on the wall. Plays out that Nexus of Fate. They get another turn. Yeah, so the issue here is that David's clearly got this match won, but they ran out of time. Now, the time was set incorrectly at the start, and also there's an issue here of just general kind of sportsmanship for the league. It's pretty damn obvious who's going to win. So if the time runs out, then we just simply we would expect Stephen to concede, but that was not the case. This is not a knock on Stephen. Stephen is a new player. This is his first time in the league, but the win, the time to be set is for 60 minutes. So what ends up happening here is David will lose because of his time running out. But after appealing to the moderators for the league, myself, he actually gets granted this win. So because Stephen won game one, later on they had to come back and concede the first game immediately. Stephen had to concede the first game immediately so that he'd be on the play for game two. They'd just quickly sideboard, and that they would play game two as if it were game three. So you see the whole board's been exiled. Probably is a bit of time wasting going on here from David. Like he could have just plussed Nissa a few times, concentrated on plussing Nissa. He's got all four Nexus of Fates in hand. So this is the third game now. After that game was ran out of time, and it's 1-1. So I think in that second game we saw two duresses from Stephen. You'd imagine he's probably got full four. Well, I think when you've got two fog effects, I don't know if you really need to fire it off so early. Like you could hold them for later and get better value out of them. But I guess he wants to do something with his mana. Nexus of Fate is going to shuffle back in here. And when he's shuffling Nexus of Fate back in, then you know either he's very far off and he's desperate and wants to keep the other cards, or he's got another one. But this is what Stephen wants to be doing, getting early pressure on here. You can see two-turn clock immediately. There's that second fog. So before he actually there was Teferi is down now. Wait, what did he take? Yeah, he took. Okay, so he discarded Teferi and he drew another one anyway. So he's got his Haze of Pollen, so this is a pretty good position for him to be in here. So 7, 8, 9, 10 coming across. He can probably. I like this attack, sending the Chain Whirler the other way, because then it would make still lethal the next turn, but it's not going to make a difference because of the pollen. 2, 4, 5. So he's got to survive this turn. You can see Teferi's got to find him something here. It does not. So if Stephen can deal 10 damage, what's he doing? Oh, okay, yeah, that's a nice play. Buy himself another turn. So what he did there was, with the Teferi end of turn trigger on the stack, tap all fives and untap again. So he's starting to go off now. I don't think he wanted to draw that bounty of luck, so that's super risky. So you can see now he's in a real jam because he's not going to get his extra turn, and he doesn't have a fog. So this is Stephen's opportunity. He can put 3, 6, 10 damage on the board. So he only needs to find 2 more points and it's game over here. If it's a lightning strike, well, he doesn't have it, obviously. Oh, no, he does, yeah. So that can crew the Heart of Crown. That's game. So Stephen will take down Standard 2-1. A pretty entertaining contest. Huh? Well, if he's got the pollen, you don't take down Teferi anyway. If he doesn't have the pollen, you win the match by going at the face. So he's missed an opportunity then. Just open the door ever so slightly for David. And you can see he's found a Nexus of Fate. Just calculate again. 3, 3, 6, 9. Yeah, he actually had 13 damage on the board. If he went at the face, it was game over. And I think but you can see there's still no. He's going to take the commit memory. No, he's going to take the life gain. Still no fog. But I think you can see there that he knows that David will know. Sorry, Stephen will know. Apologies on mixing the names up. Stephen will know he missed an opportunity there because Teferi went down. But here's the opportunity again. So he's got to find 3 more points again though. Does he find it? He duresses and takes bounty of the Luxor. So he knows the coast is clear. He needs to find 3 points of damage. He's not going to get it this turn. And he's going to miss a point of damage by not activating Heart of Quran. And I'm not sure why he's sending the extra one at Teferi, because he knows that David's got nothing in hand. He could have just sent that at the... Or I bet he wishes he could take Lara Dawnbringer, but he's going to take a Fog. But you can see he's got nothing going on. He can cycle the irrigated farmland and find something. He also has a... Well... There's a Nexus of Fate, but I don't mind taking the Fumigate. He'll boost up to 15 now. There's still 4 cards on the other side for Stephen, so he's got something going on over there. And he's going to be able to get back a Scrap Heap Scrounger next turn. I think he missed 4 points of damage there. He could have got back the Scrounger that turn and activated Heart of Crown. 2 Nexus of Fate, so he can start to go to work again. He needs to find the Teferi to go with it though. 2 Teferis down already. Well, Lara Dawnbringer will be a win con here. He's going to take the extra turn. So here's Lara. 2, 4, 6, 7. And he's found a Nexus of Fate. So he's going to be able to go off next turn. Actually, he could have done it this turn. He could have cycled a Root Snare to get that Nexus, and then got it back and gone for it. I think he missed an opportunity there. The other option was he could have also cast Supreme Will to get it, and he would have had enough mana to use it as well. So he's going to get it back. I don't like that activation. I think it's pointless because what other card in your deck do you want besides the one you know you're drawing next turn? And surely Stephen is tapped out now, so I can't see David losing from here. He's going to just keep chipping away, getting an extra turn. Yeah, he's actually got enough Nexus of Fates now. He's got the match wrapped up. Oh, that's lethal right there with the Nissa activation. So David takes down Standard 2-1. There's some pretty entertaining matches there. Stephen missed an opportunity to get the win earlier in the match. He'll be kicking himself when he sees that, I think. We're on to Modern now, where David has been playing Jeskai Control for a few weeks. I'm not sure what Stephen is on. We'll find out very soon. I'm just going to adjust. I'm lying on the floor. So Bloodstained Mire. Once we see the first card, we'll get a good idea. Okay, Burn. Traditional Burn. Suspends a Rift Bolt. I don't think any other deck in Magic suspends a Rift Bolt. What does he want to take here? I think you've got to, he can get the blue source untapped. Oh, I probably would have taken a red source then. So, Stephen not mucking around here. Burn gets this match over and done with pretty quickly. But no turn 2 play suggests, and no cracked flooded strand there for David. David will certainly be in the market here for counter spells. And so you'd expect here a Boros Charm at the end of the turn. There it is there, he just flashed it. Yeah. I think this match, and so David could actually fight, yeah, he's going to crack and fire back with a Lightning Helix, but because he didn't fetch that red source with his first land, now he's got to get a shock land in order to do it. And the shock land is going to cost him 2, which kind of negates the 3 life gain. And this one is a very tough card as well. Well, again, that will negate it. So he just gains a point of damage. I think you've got to be super thrifty with how you manage your life totals when you're playing against Burn. And firing off a lightning bolt, that's super aggressive on David's part. And a skull crack. So, and just like that, okay, he's got the cryptic, but he doesn't have the 4th land. You can see the life totals 9 and 7. You'd favour Stephen from here, I'd imagine. Now this is purely for card draw. He's hoping to hit that 4th land. And he's just dead actually if David's got the spells. He's got 2 on hand. Boris charmed him to 3. And he still can't hit it. It's going to take a miracle to get out of this one for David now. So what can he draw? Any burn spell will do it. Just about or Goblin Guide. Now we'll get the trigger from Goblin Guide here. See what it is. It's a logic knot. You don't want to be drawing that. Searing Blaze will do the last points of damage. So now he's got to kill the... No, you can't play that. Yeah, he backs away. You can't play Snapcaster because it'll give the Searing Blaze the extra points of damage. Yeah, that's correct. Just bolt. He can't play Snapcaster Mage full stop. There's the crappy. Well, the Logic Knot's going to buy him a turn at least because it's going to counter the first burn spell. And super frustration, you'd imagine, on Steven's side. He just needs anything like that, and he wins the match. Yeah, he's got Path to Exile, so he can protect himself against a follow-up Goblin Guide here. He can't beat a follow-up burn spell. There's no follow-up burn spell. Or negate. He just keeps buying himself an extra turn. But often what the burn player will do here is they will just stockpile burn spells. So Steven's probably got the win con in his hand already, but he's free to fire it off now if he wanted. And there's a land, but it's tapped. And I bet he's going to pop burn spells. I was going to say the burn player likes to usually keep 2 spells to be sure of the win. There was a window there when there's only a Sacred Foundry. Now this is getting aggressive. So here's the window again. If he wants to, he can win the match right there. I probably would have saved that Snapcaster to the next turn. See, there's a lightning bolt, and that's the win. So game 1 goes to Steven. I would have saved the Snapcaster to use it with a lightning helix. But you can see he is going to be able to use the cryptic command this turn. You'd imagine he would untap Sacred Foundry, so he's got 2 burn spells by the looks of it. Yeah, lightning bolt and lava spike. Huge hit coming in here. David might actually be in the market just to chump block with one of those Snapcasters to save 3 points of damage. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So he's down to 12 already. To go to 9 on turn 2 would have been too much. Again, a slight misplay there because you can't play out. I think he needs 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you can't play out the fetch before you Serum Visions because now he can't crack that fetch because he kept the spell slide on top. And so Steven's going to know that. He is going to have minimal damage here from the Grim Lava Mancer coming down. But there is a Boros chunk that's 8. We're going to put him to 6. You'd imagine David has some sort amount of, some amount of, what do they call it? Dispel and so on in his sideboard. So he hasn't actually had a chance to see those yet. And so he's going to be able to use the fetch here. He can shuffle away if he doesn't like what the Goblin Guide reveals. 1 card left in hand. I think you can't block here. Well, he has to now because he cracked the fetch. Yeah, I like this one. Snapcaster in to trade with the Goblin Guide, and I just take the hit from the Swift Spear. Although he'd be dead to. Okay, the reveal was there. You can see Spell Sky is going to cost him 2 life. So he goes to 3. He's going to drop to 1, and Grim Lava Mancer is going to finish him off. Well, Lava Mancer is going to actually finish off the Spell Sky first. I think it would have been the same thing. He could have just fired Lava Mancer straight at the face and dropped him to 1. Either way, it's the same result. But he's just dead to lava man to an extent anyway. Is there any way out of this? There's no way out of this. He can't crack that flooded strand. He's just dead. So Steven's going to come back and take modern after going down 2 games to 1 in standard. He's going to take modern 2 games to 0. Onto legacy now, where David is playing legacy elves. He's played this a few times over the last couple of seasons. Uh, well, this is interesting. How's he doing this? Exiled 2 Simian Spirit Guides to play a turn 1 Goblin Rebel Master. But this is what this Elves deck does. It's just super explosive. I don't know. Rebel Master is going to make the token. He is going to get in for Rebel Master. I think, yeah, he's got Rebel Master for Archdruid would be a nice trade, but David's not making that trade. David's now out of gas. Not really sure what's going on Steven's side here, but for some reason, I don't know why, David had conceded that match. It wasn't clear to me when I went back and watched what was going on and why he did that, but yeah, he did. Yeah, I suspect Steven might be on this mono red prison deck, which is very popular in the leagues at the moment. You can see he's used a Chrome Mox to get rid of a. You'd assume there's a Blood Moon coming here, or okay, Ensnaring Bridge. Ensnaring Bridge is not going to be as good against Elves because they're all low to the ground. Yeah, you, and also I suspect Blood Moon. I don't think it would stay in against Elves because it's basically it's a mono green deck. You'd potentially shut off Gaia's Cradle, but it's not really worth it. And there's a huge one, Volcanic Fallout. That's going to wipe the board. Actually, now it's got me wondering. It might have been Steven that conceded the first game. He lacked the mana. So we'll wait and see the result of this next match. Here's a Rebel Master, but it looks like and a Chalice for 1. So that's big problems for. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Stephen actually that makes sense. Stephen conceded the first match. He very quickly wins the second. So we're into a decider. After David took down standard, Stephen struck back and quickly took modern. So this is the decider in legacy. Mono red prison against elves. Chalice for 1 was brutal in that second match. And so here's the ancient turn. This is going to be for 1 again. This is going to hurt. You can see he's David with only 1 in hand at the moment, but he does play a lot in his deck. I think he can actually cheat at a 1-drop in with Green Sun Zenith if he wanted to get around Chalice of the Void. We'll see if he brings in Reclamation Sage. Surely he's got a few on the sideboard because he saw the Ensnaring Bridge, he saw the Chalice, and you'd assume there's Blood Moons as well. I think the Blood Moons will come out because things like Ancient Tomb get shut down. So the race is on. All 3 games, Stephen's managed to find his Goblin Rebel Master. That's going to get counted. The other thing is, he's just saying in chat, derp. He got Green Sun Zenith for Reclamation Sage to take down that Chalice. A second Rebel Master. I don't believe. Look at all those elves. That's a beating coming across. I don't believe that Elves plays any sort of board wipe here, but I think this game's over. Yeah, there's nothing going on David's side, so it looks like Stephen is going to take down Legacy 2 games to 1, and he'll take the series 2-1, winning Modern and Legacy and going down in Standard. So that's our first look at Stephen Johan Mathee, a new player that's joined us this season. And welcome to the leagues, by the way. 2-4-5. He's only got to punch in one more. That'll do it.